Welcome to Like a Champion podcast, where we speak to leaders from all walks of life. This is episode 5 with City Furniture President Andrew Koenig and his father, CEO Keith Koenig. This was something a little different than what I've done before, but I really was looking forward to jumping into the family dynamic of a business like City Furniture and how they transition from one generation to the next. But for those who aren't familiar, City Furniture is the largest furniture retailer here in South Florida and is currently going through a rapid expansion phase through the central and north part of the state in Orlando and Tampa. They are a 2,000 employee business, 500 million in annual sales is what they've made public. And City is a company that has a tremendous reputation for not only customer service, but for how they treat their employees. So I was really looking forward to this interview, talking to Keith and Andrew about how they created a winning culture, their giving pledge in terms of philanthropy and supporting the community around them, and just managing that family dynamic within a larger organization like City. Andrew brought a lot to the table coming out of college with his lean initiative and investments in technology. And Keith obviously brings a lot from a company that he started in the 70s with his late brother, Kevin. This is episode 5 of Like a Champion. I hope you enjoy. All right, here we go. Keith and Andrew, thanks for jumping on Like a Champion podcast. This is episode 5. Keith and Andrew Koenig with City Furniture. You guys are going through some really exciting growth right now. I know a little bit about it, but would love to hear a little bit more about your growth, what your plan is going forward right now, and maybe a little bit about how you made it through COVID and what you've learned in that process. Andrew, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, go for it, Andrew.
Sure. So, I feel like I remember the day like it was yesterday, March 15th. The world kind of went flat there for a second. And we realized our showrooms were going to potentially be shut down. And we really pivoted pretty quickly and locked ourselves in a room. Luckily, we have a really strong management system, team, operating system, how we work together, good KPIs, management. We were able to really forecast what we thought was going to happen and accordingly around that. Mm-hmm. And, like most businesses, once the store shut down, we had to, with our sales forecast, we had to furlough quite a few individuals, but with the individuals that were left here in our organization, we really worked really hard to make sure our website was super strong. We were tackling all sales that we possibly could in store, on the phone, through chat. Adjusting our marketing offers like free shipping on everything. We just looked at everything to capture as many sales as we possibly could in those very tough times, late March through April. And I'm proud to say our sales team, our entire team, really supporting our sales team and our marketing. We were able to really beat our very rough, conservative forecasts. Mm-hmm. And, throughout the entire, more difficult summer, April through September, I'd say, we had a mission inside the business, which was to get everybody back to work from furlough by middle July. I think 2 or 3 weeks before the government, stopped doing their additional payout on top of unemployment. And really everybody in the business, it was a rallying cry. IT, marketing, merchandising, operations, everybody supported sales to get through those difficult times. And as we scaled, as we were making great success, whether it was free design services or chat online, sales, doing virtual appointments in store, so customers could see their furniture through our sales associate holding an iPad. I mean, we did everything under the sun to capture as much sales. And then we basically saw that the stay-at-home economy, more people staying at home, there was a greater need for people like work from home. The house was now the school, and we weren't going on vacation much. So the market share of furniture started to get bigger for our industry, and we were able to tackle that and capture that business faster than most. And we actually exceeded our sales forecast, and we're now on track. It's December 10th right now. We're on track to beat our original sales goal for the year that we originally planned in January. So it's been an unbelievable year. Man, I can go on and on about that.
Would you have ever thought once we had this shut down, and I'm rewinding too, I don't live too far away from you, but like, we had no idea how long this was going to last, right? I mean, would you have had any idea on March 15th or a week after that you would be having this conversation with me about your projections? I mean, a lot of us were worried. I know I was, but.
Sure. No, I mean, where we're ending up this year is absolutely amazing. So we're about to pay out 100% profit sharing tomorrow morning on one of the wildest years of all time. And it's absolutely amazing that we're in a financial position to reward our associates for such amazing work, get everybody back to work. We didn't have one layoff. No, it's an absolutely unbelievable year. And, hey, we're still in a pandemic. It's not over. We still, we're doing the best we can. We're forecasting as frequently as we possibly can. And it's a moving target.
Keith, is there anything that's
many businesses across the country have been negatively impacted, but many businesses also have been positively impacted, and everybody, any category around home has had some positive impact. You see comps for Home Depot and Lowe's in the home improvement space. And home building is at record high. Single family home sales prices are skyrocketing. So there's change. With every crisis, there's always opportunity and challenge. And some my dear friends who are in the restaurant business, or in the hotel business, or in the cruise business, or they're in really tough shape, and it's really, really challenging for them. However, people are spending more time at home. We reacted to the increased demand, and Andrew and the team, I think, did a really spectacular job of capturing the business and meeting customer expectations in a very challenging environment.
So you mentioned to me, Keith, once in person about how your sort of perspective of working from home has changed, mainly because of the technology we're using right now. Is there anything like Zoom here that's permanently changed how you do business or some of your associates work with you?
Yes, absolutely. We've gotten everything digital has moved forward in the last several months at a much more rapid rate than was expected. And so work from home, I was always a little skeptical about it, but we've been having some people in customer care and other areas doing that before COVID. Now we have an enormous amount of our people working from home, and as they have, for the most part, been more, at least as productive, and possibly in some cases more productive. Some people in some parts of the company have maybe taken a little advantage of that and have been a little less productive, and we're able to measure that. So I do believe work from home is going to be a permanent standard. I don't think it's going to be 100%. I think it's going to be a mix. And we're also able to recruit people to do work outside of our trading area that we normally would have never looked at. So we've got some technology people working in different parts of the country.
Yeah, that's great. Where do you guys see, like, you have your sort of 5-year roadmap? I know you're expanding a lot into the upper part and central part of the state. What's your sort of vision there?
Go ahead, Andrew.
So, it's pretty exciting time for us. Maybe back up, and we're in a very fortunate spot where our business model is strong. We really love the direction of where our stores are going, the look, feel of our brand, our marketing, product lineup, our operational capabilities. And we got this phenomenal digital team. So we're really feeling good as a business. And then you look at the state, Florida's doing well. We forecast, population growth. We got the housing market looks to be strong over the next few years. So we got all the right kind of wind at our back and a good business model. And, we're pretty dominant here, #1 market share leader in South Florida. And we're a couple years into our expansion in Orlando. So we'll fully continue to grow out in our markets there. And then we got our expansion underway into Tampa. And, our goals are to grow beyond the state of Florida in the next 5 years. And, but I love what Keith's always done, which is carefully. We never bet the ranch. We're very financially careful and conservative, and all of our associates are our family members, so we're doing it right. And I love what my uncle used to always say, or at least I heard him say, is we're not interested in being the biggest. We're interested in being the best. And I think we're constantly focused on being the best at what we do. So we'll continue to grow as we can afford so, and but we're headed north.
Yeah, that's great. Keith, I'd love to hear a little bit of the backstory behind how you started City, with your brother. And I remember vividly, it was Waterbed City back then. Talk about maybe the impetus to that and how it came together, that whole story.
Okay, so the story, we started with the most humble beginnings. My late brother, Kevin, who passed away in 2001, smart guy. He graduated from Florida Atlantic University with an MBA, worked his way through college. Our family was middle class. Mom worked at the department store and dad worked for National Car Rental. So money was tight, but education was important. He graduated with an MBA at FAU, saved up about $4,000 or $5,000, working his way through college as a bellman in what used to be Sea Ranch Lakes Hotel. And so that gives you a little insight towards Kevin. He was a saver. And you can do anything. My message to everybody in our organization: you can do anything if you want. If you're willing to eat enough peanut butter and save every penny, you can create a business. Well, he did. He wanted to be an entrepreneur. He opened a little waterbed store, named it Waterbed City. And I started working with him in the summer of 1972. He opened it up late 71. Of course, everybody thought he was crazy. And then I came down and worked that summer, and I said, he's not crazy. This is a great idea. This is fun. And I fell in love with the business. We became partners in 1975 when I graduated from the University of Florida. And we worked together and built a team and tried to take what we learned in business school and put it into the crazy waterbed business. And we did things that, you look back and you go, scratch your head, but we saved every penny, and we worked hard, and we worked nonstop, and we added another and a third and a fourth and fifth store. And before you knew it, in the 80s, we had a lot of waterbed stores, and they were doing pretty well. And Waterbed City was a brand name. But change happens to every business. Waterbed started to go out of favor, and we had to reinvent our business to City Furniture. So Kevin and I settled on City Furniture. I was kind of more the merchandising and sales and marketing, and he was more the operation and technology side, because we had been into technology at an early stage. And we opened up our first City Furniture store. It was kind of like all the poker chips were on the table. There was no going back. We had to burn we're throwing away the name of Waterbed City, and we had to get into a much more competitive part of the world. But it was a bigger, we were a small fish in a bigger pond, and now we're the #1 seller of furniture in South Florida in the markets that we compete in. So it's been a dedication of our team, of hard work, of thrift, of all the trying to focus on the customer, and the future is very exciting.
Yeah, that's a great story. Andrew, so growing up, your whole life, your dad's in the business, right? Your uncle's in the business. Is it something you knew that you would get into when you got older? Did you not know until you got older? I mean, kind of just wondering what that journey's like.
Yeah. So in high school, I was pretty focused at trying to go pro in golf, go as far as I possibly could. I was pretty passionate, and not until I realized, okay, the pro golfers were on an unbelievably high level. I mean, I played Division I golf, but they're just some of the best players were just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I think when that was happening, I was taking some accounting classes, and I guess I just didn't realize how fun accounting was like. I was probably the only person in the class that enjoyed like running the class, doing homework. But what I really found is I love the business side, and I just kind of fell in love in business. I think I was probably 18, 19 at that time. And then I think at that time, me and Keith would start having more conversations about what I was learning in college, and getting me mentally prepared for joining the business. And I guess it started in college in accounting classes, where I really just fell in love with business in general. And then I fell in love with City Furniture. As I learned more joining the organization and realizing huge opportunity in the furniture industry. It's very cottage industry. It's a huge industry. It's a fun industry. And, the dominant leader of furniture retail is, Ashley Home Stores. And, it's a $5 or $6 billion business out of a $110 billion industry. So it's pretty cottage and open. And I think, Keith and I agree that over the next 10 or 15 years, the bigger we're going to get better. And there's an opportunity there. So this is a fun, competitive opportunity here. And I love the organization that Keith's built and the culture that we have, and never feels like work. Everybody's like family, and it's fun going to work with family every day in a very competitive and fun industry.
Yeah. Keith, did you think he'd end up in the business?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did, but I never forced that. I don't think it makes any sense to force anything. I always said to
Right.
him and his sister, I said, if you want to come work at City Furniture, there'll always be an opportunity for you here. And there's a lot of fun parts of the business that you can learn. When Darren got out of college, she kind of helped start our design business, which still continues and is growing nicely. And but we've got a fun business. Furniture's fun, and
Sure.
we got nice people. And I thought he would join because he's a very strong competitor. He's got a strong competitive, and he's a very hard worker. He's willing to work hard, and he's got great communication skills and a great attitude. And so I knew he would be successful. I didn't know he would be as good as he is. He really is. Particularly if his last name was Shelton, he'd be president of our company, and he will be CEO at some time down the road. But
Very, very nice.
he's a hardworking guy.
And I mentioned this before, I work with a lot of business owners and they're all privately owned, most of them family businesses. And I see a lot of, unfortunately, I see a lot of dysfunction in the statistics. There's an association called the Family Business Institute, and they publish statistics of the failure rates of second gen and even third gen businesses. So I'm always trying to learn more so that I can convey to my clients what makes a successful transition from Gen 1 to Gen 2. Andrew, you were named president within the last couple of years, I believe, right? And so I'm just curious as to that family dynamic there. How did you establish, how did you, sort of work that dynamic, and, what are the challenges that you find, or has it come easy to you? I mean, Andrew, you sound like you're a real self-starter and you're a responsible guy, and that certainly helps. But you see a lot with the second gen, a lot of sense of entitlement and sort of like, hey, it's my name's on the wall, so I get a job and a big office or what have you. So I'm just kind of curious, like Keith, as to as the senior member of the family here, like how do you manage that and potential? Obviously you have a daughter too. She's not working in the business now, but generally speaking, was there any type of guide that you had, and maybe a mentor of your own, or working with your brother? Obviously you had that history there, right? And I'm sure you guys, it sounds like you were greatly successful, but at the same time, I'm sure you had your disagreements. And, I hear about my dad and my uncle who were in business for 30 years and they came out on the other end okay. But I'm always interested to hear, how do you manage that expectations and ensure that the family is still intact, let alone the business, right?
I think it starts with values, Wes. I think, and you can't really, you can put what values on the wall, or you can say and put them in a book or anything, but it really, how do you live them? And so we always lived well within our means, and so we weren't extravagant. We weren't. We always reinvested in the business, and I think Darren and Andrew saw that at every step of the way, and they saw how we worked hard. I think that just is easy to pass on. I think if we would probably had bad values, it would have been harder to pass on and expect the next generation to have good values. If as an organization we were like spending the last cent on personal stuff rather than reinvesting in the business. But I think Andrew came in with a really good head on his shoulders, and he saw how he liked what he saw in terms of culture, and he liked what he saw. And we talked about it. He wanted to work in operations to start with. And I said, the best place to start in operations is unloading trucks.
Yeah.
I know you got an MBA, but you got to go unload trucks for, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 weeks. He said, no, I'm going to stay down there for a lot longer than that. I want to get to know all the guys. And he unloaded trucks for 12 weeks. So Andrew, take it from there.
Yeah. So, I knew, I agree. I think I've watched Keith and my mom run our business and my uncle run our business a certain way. So I think that rubbed off on me for 20 plus years before I even started. And I think I chose not to dive deep into the business until I think I was mentally prepared to be all in. So I think that was also helpful. And when I jumped in when I dived in all in, I picked the right department to really try to earn the respect of the business by doing every job in operations and being there, not afraid to sweat, every single day, and working 10 to 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. shift. Or my wife now, early when we were dating, she didn't really know. She thought I was joking when I was actually going to work at 10 o'clock at night. She's like, what? She was like, anyways, it just shows you that now I worked all the shifts, crazy hours. And I think that showed Keith, the senior team, the leaders in our organization that are still around, 17 years later, I've done all the dirty jobs and I know how to do it, and, learn from the ground up. But I think Keith's values of running the business all those years is what, I think I inherently knew what was going to be expected. And, I knew that I wouldn't be the president one day if I didn't deserve it. And if I didn't feel like I earned it, I wouldn't feel whole inside. And I think, as I went through, I try to help. I would advise any second generation, add value where the business needs you, and focus and make progress. And I was pretty smart that I would never extend myself, and I would focus in an area, improve it, and be, earn that growth and that responsibility, and never just use my name to get more responsibility. And I feel pretty, now you're never going to, nobody in the organization is always, going to say 100%, but I would say almost every promotion I got, I think the leaders around me or above me or below me would have said he deserved that every step of the way. And I think Keith and I timed it pretty properly. So timing's everything. And, but when you work your butt off and you work harder than him, or we have a CFO for our company, Steve Wilder, he's amazing, and work harder than both those two guys, for many years, you'll earn the respect of a lot of people, and you'll become a subject matter expert in a lot of aspects of the business. Keith still schools me in a lot of parts of the business, but I think that's helped me get to where I am. Now we've gone at it all our career, here and there, and I've heard him going at it with his brother, my uncle, but I think that's normal. But we have all that core good values inside that at the end of the day, we love each other, and we're going to be there for each other. And, we'll screw up here and there, but it's good to have those values aligned in the beginning, because I think it does make it easier.
I think it's amazing that the part where you're working on the loading docks and they're sort of in the entry level job, physically putting in the time and energy in the hours that you're putting in, 10 p.m. is amazing. And I think that
he's still doing that, by the way. He's going in now because it's really busy. He's going in for a few hours on Sundays to do that. So that shows a lot of leadership to people. It's not mailing it in. He's coming in and working with the guys, and they appreciate that. That's how you build cred.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's no sense of entitlement there. I mean, you're putting in the time and effort, and that the other eyes are looking at you, right? Like, especially when you first get there, there's the Koenig kid, is he going to put in a shift, or is he going to have his feet up on the table in the break room? Like, clearly that wasn't the case. So the fact that you were that determined at a young age is great to see. And I think that more the second gen, could learn from that example. And I don't think people are ever going to fault you, right, if you're putting in the time and energy and working harder than the next guy. Like, there's just a level of respect that will always come with that, I think, anywhere. So yeah. And so, Andrew, I want to focus a little bit now, and I'll flip to Keith on a sort of the same note, but what you brought to the business uniquely. We talk a lot about the lean engineering and the tech component of bringing more technology to the business. I would love to hear a little bit more about, this is sort of your baby, what you're bringing to City to take it to the next generation.
Yeah. So I think back in college is when I just accidentally was, I learned about the company called Toyota that we all know. And when, at that time, this is, 20 years ago, I learned how phenomenal of an organization they are. Very profitable, small little company in Japan, 1950, that now is, world powerhouse, very profitable. Nobody leaves, does so many good things for the environment, the community, their associates, whatever. I can go on and on how unbelievable organization they are. And so they have what's called the Toyota production system that in most businesses in the world, I'd say, Amazon, Tesla, whatever you want, everybody has learned some aspect of the Toyota production system, and it's really creating a culture of continuous improvement. And I was fortunate to learn from that, and Keith got me some good tours in Japan, thanks to Jim Moran, and I became a subject matter expert on the topic. And it's now turned into what is our city furniture operating system that, thankfully Keith agreed to dive into in 2007. We've been doing it for 13 years, and we're really proud of the culture it's created, the continuous improvement mindset it's created, and all of our KPIs, safety, quality, customer performance, and teamwork are all improving because we've figured out how to create a culture of continuous improvement. And down to the admins, down to the delivery driver, the sales associate, leadership team, we're all problem solvers, and we're all solving problems every single day. So it's been really cool. So Keith has the super strong furniture, marketing, sales, merchandising expertise. And then I think, man, I have a really strong lean expertise. You combine those two together and we're pretty darn good. And I think we've made some amazing progress over the last few years as we've implemented lean throughout our business knowledge of marketing, merchandising, and everything furniture industry. And we're really creating something pretty special. So, it's been fun to watch and really work together on what he's built for 49 years and lean kind of helping making it better. And,
well, sure.
It's been awesome.
Yeah, your strengths seem to complement each other, which is always a great thing. Keith, can you tell me, in regards to tech, is this an industry that you find is somewhat antiquated in any way in terms of what your competitors offer or utilize in terms of technology? Is it an industry that's antiquated at all, or are your competitors?
Furniture is a industry, as Andrew was saying, cottage industry. It's very fragmented. So at $500 million in revenue, our business is pretty large in the home furnishings industry, even though it's $100+ billion industry. There's no Best Buy or Home Depot home furnishings industry. There's no dominant player. And so I've said it's been run guys that look like me, and it's got to be in the future run by a more diverse work group that's younger and more in tune to what our current customer is. Andrew and his friends have bought homes or buying homes and are in those stages where they're having families, and those are all periods when home furnishings become more important. And so Andrew has built a very good team of that's focused on technology. My brother was really early very good in that category. So he had a little bit of a platform to work from. And we've been able to invest in the team, not only technology, but also all things digital in an increasingly digital world. So most people that I network in the home furnishings industry are not on the cutting edge. All of our associates, sales associates, are working off of iPads in our showrooms, with probably the best mobile sales platform in retail. So we've got a lot of good things going for us, but it's such a move, and we need to keep getting better and better because the future is all about technology. He mentioned our CFO, Steve Wilder, and I were at a conference many years ago put on by Gartner, and the message everybody was saying, whatever business you're in, you've got to become a technology company. And I'm thinking, we're in the furniture business, but we got to become a technology company that happens to sell furniture. And we looked at each other and said, we got a long way to go. Well, I can say 5 years later, Andrew and our team have built a strong platform of technology that works exceedingly well. We do same-day delivery. We've got a global supply chain that's managed well. But there's a lot. Our list of all the things we need to do in technology is longer than ever.
Yeah, longer than ever.
Longer than ever. There's more opportunity to grow our business and improve our business and improve the customer experience through technology. So he's got a better strong suit on that than I do, but buying and building the team necessary to create the future that we want is what we both agree on.
Yeah, that's great. Andrew, I want to shift gears a little bit. City, to me, as an outsider, seems like it's got this perfect mix of, or near perfect mix of, sort of solid corporate branding, structure, product, but at the same time, it still feels like a family business. Most of the people I've dealt with there, just a lot of personality. You can just tell they seem to love working there. It's like got this perfect mix where it's not too much of one or not too much of the other. What do you think that, like, talk to me about the culture there and how you think that you guys have created that family culture while still being a progressive, forward thinking organization. I would love to just sort of hear a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I think it starts with, what made us successful. Keith and Kevin, I think, did a great job of creating an organization that we always said had a really strong family spirit. My mom would be a part of our happy hours or Halloween events, and the other wives or husbands would come to the events and really just create a really fun family atmosphere. Kids were welcome. We love when our associates get married to each other and have kids and bring their kids part of the company. We really support that family spirit, and it's one of our values as a business. So, and then I think our HR team and our senior level leadership team really take that pretty seriously, and making sure that we're keeping that spirit alive in a lot of the events, happy hours, just making sure that we're a great organization that cares about each other. We spend more, sometimes more time with each other than our own family. So we call each other the city family, and that, I think that family vibe comes out of those really strong relationships, that really strong culture, and it feels like a family. It feels like something very unique, and I'm definitely laser focused on that because I saw it be very successful for Keith for the last 49 years, and I want to keep that value going forever, because I really do think it's a differentiator. If we're coming to work every day with people we love and we care about, and having fun and passion about what we do, treating each other right, it's going to feel like a family while we go through these turbulent times like COVID-19, and we're there for each other. And then, it's there for each other, fighting to get each other back from furlough, and now we're here paying, 100% profit sharing tomorrow because we deserve it, and rewarding our family for great work. I can't put a finger on it, but we talk about it a lot. We really try to work at it. We have good associate satisfaction surveys at checkpoints throughout the year, all departments, and a lot of communication every day to really make sure we're keeping that spirit alive. And I think we all recognize that we want to keep that going forever.
Keith, do you have anything to add there?
Yeah, we have a responsibility to 2,000 plus families, 2,000 plus associates and their families. Private equity does not work in our business. You have a long haul point of view, because there's fluctuations, there's cycles. We're a cyclical business, and there's going to be times where if we're trying to pull every penny out of the business like a private equity company would, we would find ourselves at a downturn where we had limited resources and it blows up. I've seen it happen time and time again. Kevin and I always approach this to say, it's a family business. We want to stay a family business because we can do okay, and we can have a nice career building a great business and working and creating something special with a lot of people that we like and care for. But at the same time, we find a stewardship for everybody in the organization. So it's not just, hey, what can the shareholders get out of this? No. I care about every guy that's unloading trucks or delivering furniture, or a guy or gal that's selling furniture, and everybody in the organization. And I feel a personal responsibility, and Andrew shares that, to build a company and a culture that they want to be a part of. That way we can be successful, we can innovate, and we can grow our business. But at the same point in time, I don't think anybody in our company would like to work for a private equity company that was looking to sell the business in 2 to 5 years. So in our industry, this is a business model, and this is a format that's built for success. I've seen it happen the other way. I'm not going there. So I've told everybody in our organization, we're not selling. I wanted to develop a company, and Andrew and Ryan, it's set up for them. If I get run over by a bus, the continuity of our organization will continue, and it's set up so that hopefully their kids and other kids in the company can rise within the organization. We can have a family company with different people running it in 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years from now. We want to have the best people running the business, but a family attitude where everybody, we all are family, is the best place for everybody to be as productive as they can be. And I feel a responsibility and a stewardship for that.
Yeah, that's an incredible mentality, I think, and just goes to show the culture starts from the top, right? And I think, Andrew, you said it earlier, or maybe it was you, Keith. But it was Keith. We were talking about you could write all these values on a wall. They really don't mean anything unless you actually, practice it. And I think people see that there. That's just the sense I get. I don't work there, but it's a total polar opposite from this, maverick president mentality where everybody wants to work with me. They'd be lucky to work for me. And, it's a total polar opposite mentality. And I think it seems like it's really evident in the culture there. And I want to just sort of segue into philanthropy. It seems like Citi has always been very active in philanthropy. Would love to hear the causes that you support and why. And Andrew, you want to start there?
Sure. So I'll tell you a funny story. I remember maybe 5 years ago, Keith, or something like that. We were at the end of the year, you're finishing up your financials and we were looking over how much, charitable donation gifts, Keith had been giving and decisions he'd been making, for the last few years. And, doing the math, it was like, wow, this is unbelievable, man. And you were doing so much good. And I remember, being a little bit younger then, just saying, millennials need to know this. Like, everybody needs to know this. I think that the business leaders in our community know this, but like everybody in the community needs to know this. As we expand into new markets, people need to know this. Not to brag, but just to show what type of leader he is and what organization he's built. So anyways, that's now turned into our 5% giving pledge. So we've gone public with a pledge to the community that we'll give back 5% of our profits every year. And we've nearly doubled that ever since that announcement. And, we don't disclose how much that is, but we have obviously some major tier 1 partners like Covenant House, which was Uncle Kevin and Keith's first partnership they've ever had. That's a fantastic organization here around the world. American Heart Association that Keith's been a chair on, I'm a chair on for the Heart Walk. Anything to do with breast cancer, American Cancer Society. My mom passed with breast cancer, so we're huge into that. We now branded our Pink Pumpkins initiative, Junior Achievement of South Florida, One Pulse organization to support LGBTQ rights. We got more partners. I literally have the budget right here, and we have tons of partners, and it's really fun to work hard, make money, and give back to the community that really needs our support, like the Urban League right now with what had happened over this summer. And now we're partnering stronger than ever to really improve our diversity and inclusion strategies there, to be the example for them to help create more organizations in South Florida and beyond. So it's just really fulfilling, rewarding, and it's not an extra thing that Citi does. I think, we're now realizing our 5% giving pledge, all the giving that Keith has done in the past and where we're at now, where we're going as an organization. It's really who we are, and it's part of our business. It might not be selling furniture, but it's part of who we are as a business. And I think, especially times like now where those that are succeeding and doing well, we need to step up and help out the community. So it's a fantastic initiative. It's sparked because of Keith and Kevin, and we're just making sure that there's a good marketing lens on it. Our associates are aware of it. Hey, new prospects that want to join our business are aware of it. And I remember having this conversation with an associate who was like, I don't have any money to give. And I was like, don't worry about it. I was like, you work here at Citi. You go kick butt out there. Go sell some more furniture.
Yeah.
Me and Keith will make sure we'll put that money to work for you. And don't you worry about it. You are giving back. So everybody's in different financial situations. And but working here at Citi, you can feel good. You're doing good for the world.
Keith, do you want to have anything to add there?
Yeah, I'm really we always looked at it from the old biblical sense that, don't let the right hand know what the left hand's doing. So we were always under the radar. But Andrew's exactly right. It's been much better for our whole company. And as a business, we're responsible to be leaders. And other businesses look at us to say, oh, they're doing that. Maybe we should also.
Yeah.
But it definitely
Absolutely.
resonates with customers. I was walking through our showroom not that long ago, and a lady said, are you Keith? Yeah. I said, yes, ma'am. Thanks for coming in shopping. And she said, yeah, we're here buying our furniture here because you guys do, and I forget what she said, you support the Museum of Discovery and Science, or you did something here. Or, and it was like, people like to do business with community businesses, family businesses that are trying to do the right thing in the community. So I think there's a nice synergy there. I'll finish up with just something that my late wife, Doreen, said. She's one time we were at this recognition, and somebody asked the same question. Say, "Oh, why do you give away money? Why do you give so much? Why do you do so many things like this?" And she said, "Oh, we're blessed, so we give." And then it popped into my head like right then, and I said, "No, honey, I think it's we give." I'm sorry. She said, "We give because we're blessed." And I said, "No, honey, I think we're blessed because we give." And I do think there's a circle there that if you try to do good things, if you wave your own flag too much, then that's not good. But Andrew's done everything very tastefully, so it's more from a leadership standpoint to be able to say, look, this is what we're trying to do. This is the kind of company we are. Come join us. And from a recruiting standpoint, it's a very resonant chord.
Yeah. Listen, that's great. Do you think that companies and corporations in South Florida could do more as a whole? When you look at all the wealth down here, some big industries, publicly traded companies, do you ever get the feeling maybe that more can be done just given all the need that we have? Or
I can answer that from my perspective. I've done some research on this, and especially public companies, you can see how much they're given. And, I really would challenge a lot of businesses out there to look at how much are you carving out. Now, primary focus, and I tell this to all of our partners, is like City Furniture, we got to grow. We need to grow. We need to continue to grow. And our success will lead to us giving more capability to support your cause. And all the best organizations know that. So I think, but every organization needs to evaluate what can they do? What can they do? And for us, we felt that 5% mark was a minimum. Mm-hmm. And I mean, we're doing already a lot of great things in the community. I'm very proud of on the 2040 Green Promise side to be carbon neutral, or just employing folks, or creating a great D&I culture here at City. There's so many great things, but I do think there's a percentage there people need to evaluate in their business and say, hey, we should give up to here. We can't afford it. We can't survive. Now, on the flip side, after you hit that mark, I'll be honest with all of our partners, and they know this for me, is, I want to make sure whatever you can do to help me, maybe it's Junior Achievement. Lori, our CEO of Junior Achievement, she's phenomenal about serving us. How can you help us? And we work hard to serve them, especially in 2019. So there's a lot of win-wins. Maybe it's connections. Maybe it's contacts. Maybe it's whatever, promoting the good works that we're doing to help support Jay, repping our brand, in their headquarters, whatever it may be. It's a symbiotic relationship. And I think that there's nothing wrong with that. And I think if leaders and more organizations did it, they'll find out what we already know, which the world will turn. It'll come back to you. If you give, it'll come back to you. And there's a lot of good leaders out there that know if you give, it'll come back to you. And I think that's been our success this last few years. This campaign of 5% Giving Pledge, for sure.
Yeah, that's solid. I think that I'm interested in hearing more. We talked, Andrew, about what you brought to City in terms of your core competencies and initiatives. What kind of lessons, or what indelible lesson do you think that your dad has taught you as a mentor, that when he's long gone and retired, what would you be sitting at the head of the board of the table and pontificate about, what your dad had taught you, and a lesson that's remain true to this time? I know things pop into my head about my dad and about my mentor now that, about, face-to-face meetings over, phone calls and texts and those types of things where every time we get on an airplane and go meet somebody, I'm always like, that was a lot of work, but it was definitely worth sitting down across from somebody. Like those types of lessons. I'm curious if there's like anything that comes to the forefront of your mind like that.
Yeah. So a lot of the stuff that we talked about, I would say, how we run our business, how we treat our people, family spirit, giving back, all of that is 100% probably the highest thing that comes to mind. But I think I'd probably say the hard work. He still goes to all the furniture markets. He still travels. He's like itching.
You're talking about like in China and stuff, right?
Oh yeah, he's
around the world.
He's itching to get back on a plane and just start traveling the world and looking for deals and product and new merchandising strategies. So that was really important. I mean, I can't underscore that. Like when I came out of college, I traveled on weekends. I visited different businesses. I obviously went with him to Asia or wherever the furniture world was at, US, you name it. And I think that travel, that constant learning, that constant being on the forefront of the industry, I know he doesn't like not, staying put. And I think that really has rubbed off on me. And I became whatever I was trying to learn. I didn't try to learn from my desk or my computer or my house. I was very visible. I travel a lot, learn from everybody, million mentors. And I don't know how that just doesn't make you super, super, super smart, and he's a smart guy, but that made him, our industry's best because he took that extra time to travel and, talk to a sales associate in a store in Milwaukee and learn about what they're doing there. He is a constant learner. So I think that's the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah, I love that. There's just no substitute, right, for that in-person, face-to-face experience. And as much as I think business will change and continue to evolve, I don't know that that will ever change, right?
We'll still be traveling. We'll still be everywhere. We just might be more mobile. So he's working half his mornings at home and coming in a little bit later. Great, and he's still going to travel all around the world. So right. So
I feel like I'm still like yearning for just a regular handshake when we're not allowed to do that anymore. Just like old fashioned interaction.
A fist bump.
Yeah.
I'm not even able to do a fist bump. I'm supposed to do an air fist bump.
Yeah, I mean, even a fist bump is like a distant second for me. It's appropriate on the golf course, maybe, but
you're talking to a guy that loves Japan, so I'm really, fingers crossed, the bow is the new handshake.
Great. I think it's a very respectable mutual. I like the bow, to be honest. So that's a great idea. Maybe we can we could just start a trend here in South Florida. But
I'll do it with you next time I see you, bro.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. I cannot wait. So I want to jump into just kind of, we're winding down into some rapid fire questions. And Keith, I would love to hear any type of book that you've read in your life that you find was maybe an inspiration for you in your business and your family life, anything like that.
Well, the best is the Bible. It's the best life book, but it's also the best business book because you talk about culture and you talk about how to treat people and you talk about how to communicate. You talk about how to behave, integrity, honesty. It's the best.
Andrew?
The Toyota Way.
And that, does that get into Deming and TQM and all that stuff, or?
It's really dives into how Toyota created the Toyota production system. Mm-hmm. So this author, Jeffrey Liker, who's the subject matter expert, American professor out of Michigan, that has really dissected what makes Toyota and their success so amazing over the last 70 years. And by the way, last quarter was like their most profitable quarter ever in a pandemic. So they're an unbelievable company. He does a good job of explaining what the Toyota Way is all about.
That might be my second best book because once Andrew said, "Hey, Dad, you got to read this," and I said, "I've been looking for this my whole life. This is really good." And now Andrew's the expert at it, but it's a great initial. It's called the Toyota Way by Dr. Jeff Liker.
So I don't know if I've read that book, but I'm definitely very familiar with TQM and some of the philosophies in there. And my dad was a car dealer, as you know, and one of the things he told me is like, hey, back in the 70s, to a similar degree, Honda came over here and it was a pile of garbage and everybody laughed about it. And meanwhile, American cars were very poor in quality and efficiency, but it didn't take long for the Japanese to flip the script on that. And next thing you knew, those cars were running for 200,000-300,000 miles and everybody was buying them, especially during the fuel crisis, right? You were not looking for gas guzzlers then. And so I just think that's such an interesting story. And of course, Deming being American to go over there and nobody would listen to him over here is it's
fascinating. Yeah. The Toyota will credit the Americans, Deming and many others, the grocery market, the supermarkets, a lot of the things that we did that we kind of lost our way on, they applied those concepts and continue to apply those concepts religiously that have made them very successful. Yes. The Toyota, the true Toyota folks will give a lot of credit to the Americans.
Yeah. Well, very humble culture, from what I understand. So, I believe that. Keith, if you had a billboard, what would it say?
A billboard?
If you had a billboard
Andy
out
knows
there.
what it would say.
Yeah, Andrew, what would it say?
Billboard. It'd say our brand. I mean, it's funny. We do some billboards, and I said a billboard's got to be the same thing. It's got to tell your brand. It's got to show the product. It's got to have an unbelievable value. It's got to be simple. No copy. Bam.
Well, what would your billboard? What would Keith's billboard say?
My billboard?
Yeah.
You get to send your message out to the world. I mean,
he wouldn't have. That's actually the right answer. He wouldn't have.
I wouldn't have a billboard.
He doesn't like.
And you could put a Bible verse up there. I don't.
Good.
So what do Koenig family get-togethers look like? I mean, I know there's some,
Thanksgiving might be 70. Most recently, it was much smaller because we can't get the whole family together. But Thanksgiving is normally 50 to 70 at my house, and a lot of food, a lot of wine. Kids
Everyone's
running around, everybody having a good time.
Yep.
What, Andrew, did you say something about a fight?
No. Everyone's invited.
Everyone's okay.
Your friend of a friend. Keith has always been very inclusive, and it's a good family time.
Who wins in a golf match here?
Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
Piece of cake.
All right. I mean, hopefully you don't play in the same tee boxes though, right? I mean, that's not fair. My dad's always grinding me to, play a tee box up.
Doesn't matter. He's going down.
No, I'm going down.
You're going down? All right. Well, to finish up, I'd love to hear, Keith, if your brother Kevin were here now, what do you think he would say about City and what you guys have?
I think he'd be very proud. I've always after he passed away, I held his hand when he died. I was close. He was my best man, and we were partners, and we'd go like this all the time. But we always had each other's back. And I've always looked at we've got his image at the front entrance of the building, and I've always looked to try to say, walk in every day and make him proud. And I'm sure he is. And I'm for sure he's very proud of Andrew. And Andrew's brother-in-law, Ryan, is my daughter Darren's husband. Ryan is an awesome leader as well. So it's really a family business, and with both sides of the family in good position to take on a very aggressive future. And I think Kevin would be most pleased about that. I think he'd be most pleased about how Andrew and Ryan have stepped up, both in different ways and in adding tremendous value. I think he'd be really pleased of all the other associates that have been here for a long period of time that he cared very much about.
Yeah. Wow. Well, Andrew, anything you want to add to that?
No, I know he'd be very proud. Yeah, I feel good.
I didn't have the good fortune to meet your uncle Andrew and your brother Keith, but what you guys have created there is really special. I wish South Florida had more companies like City Furniture, and it's been an awesome pleasure talking to you and hearing more about your story. Every time I catch a little piece of it, it's something new and different that I didn't hear before. So I'm wishing you guys the best of luck. Looking forward to transmitting this broadcast and letting some of my clients and constituents hear this, and business owners throughout the country who are trying to find a way to create something really special. And I think this has been great.
Hey, thanks for the opportunity, Wes. Good chatting with you.
Appreciate you staying on. Enjoy the rest of your week.